agenda tonight. Any additions or deletions or anything? Motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Survey. Greg, second. All in favor? Any opposed? Everybody look over the minutes from the last month's meeting. Any corrections need to be made on those?
Make a motion.
Greg, motion. Yes, Amy, need a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Any visitor comments? Thank y'all for being here. We'll do a standing committee report. SOG.
Chuck is not here. His mother passed away and her funeral was today. Now Duncan is supposed to be on Teams. I'm trying to get somebody to get in contact with him, make sure you get on.
I guess we don't have nothing on SOG.
We don't.
Yeah. Strategic planning. Yeah. So did Mark.
I was not related to that.
I don't think we have it. Apparatus committee, nothing. Budget, we'll talk about that later on. Perk committee. Move on to old business. Discussion concerning the fire rescue moving forward. Last meeting, we had a big discussion on this. I was given a presentation of a plan. Supposed to go back and talk to your departments about that plan and come back and we'll talk about here what your department wanted to talk about. Anybody to anything on the plan? Yes.
My department did have one question. Why the south end?
So what?
The aid station?
It's in McDonald Green.
No, the second. The
Well,
next one.
We probably said second, but in my opinion, at the time that that's gonna be implemented, I think we should look at where the most calls are and where the most needed ones would be. That'd be my opinion.
That was the question, was just looking at the numbers, was that really the best option for the next?
Maybe not, but I say now, I guess it's up to everybody around here, but my opinion, that needs to be looked at when it happens, or when we're planning on doing it.
And I would ask that if you're gonna do that, because I'm having to give numbers for the budget, whether you wanna pick the station in part of whatever you vote on tonight is up to you all. But you can vote on the concept of doing 2 more stations after McDonald Green with the discussion of, because they won't happen July 1 anyway, but with the discussion of, you'll decide which one of them would be first and then which one of them would be second. And there's a lot of different parameters that have to be answered in that time period anyway. But at least in concept, you either vote for the plan or you don't vote for the plan, but if you vote for those other 2, you vote for the McDonald Green move now, we want to try to do it before the end of this budget year. So you would vote for it that way if you worded it that way, so everybody understands what you either accepting or not accepting. But because I've already had to turn numbers in. So numbers have already gone into the budget. Based on how you vote tonight, we may have to re-amend some of that, and Ms. Marstall's here partly because of some of that. So, but that's the numbers, I had to do that back in December. So all of that's been done. HR's put everything in as far as salaries are concerned for the budget. And when I'm talking about salaries, I did hear that some people have misunderstood the numbers. The number that was in the presentation that was given to council, and we have that available tonight if y'all want to see it, had the salary and the whole benefit package, insurance, retirement for the state, FICA, all the things the county has to pay, that's the total salary. It's what the county is charged to pay the person the salary level. Now, our salaries are up and competitive, so we're at a good level as far as salaries are concerned, so people are not working for a pittance anymore. But I wanna make sure people understand that. I heard that somebody said an engineer was making $91,000 a year. Keith Wilson don't make $91,000 a year. And he's definitely better than the engineer position that's in the budget. So that's the salary and the benefit package that goes along with it. And it's figured based on full family benefits. And just so everybody knows, full family benefit, the county portion of that insurance is somewhere in the neighborhood of $15,000. That's what the county pays for an employee, regardless of what job you've got, if you've got full family benefits. The employee, I think, for full family benefits, the employee's paying somewhere in the $9,000 range. So that's how the benefit package runs. So I want to make sure everybody understands that. But to go back to the answer to that question, because I don't want to confuse it. The plan is McDonald Green now, 2 stations in the coming year, which would actually be planned into about a year and a half, maybe even 2 years by the time that second station comes online. But the commission will be making those decisions as to what stations need to be done and if we get the support.
I think that's throwing a lot of confusion because there's a presentation, this is what we're gonna do. It was sent out to everybody across the county, this is what we're gonna do. And that's what people discuss and are basing their vote off of, and now it's changed. I think it's changed for the better, but
well, when we were presenting to council, we were going to regional concept, and we had talked over the last 2 years at the Moving Forward Committee meeting that second station would be somewhere Rich Hill or East Springs. That was never finalized, but it was in the conversation. So that's how it ended up getting put in the presentation that way. But it does not have to be, that's not set in stone. The only thing we were trying to get set in stone is to move forward with McDonald Green.
I had quite a few people calling me asking me the same thing, and when I said, yeah, it don't really have to be down there. The district body be the one to decide where the next one is. But like Darren said, as long as we get things rolling, as long as it turns out and it works real good, there'll be a problem keeping it rolling and finding the next one that's looking at numbers and call body. Our station did have a question about the day people. They're gonna be working 4-10.
Yes.
So, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, there'll be 4-10s, and Monday and Friday, 3-10s.
If we're able, and if we have enough money in the budget, to be able to supplement with part-time people that would fill in on Friday, on Monday and Friday.
But if not, you'll
Is that right, Brett?
So, what do you're still gonna have your team at the west side that can cover that area, so, in my opinion, I think that's what, I think the west side team that's at 12 should still go out and check trucks
And that was the question
in the
Camp
other
Creek
area,
had,
in their area.
is what are these 2 guys at McDonald Green gonna be doing all day? Just check McDonald Green's truck and sit there and wait on calls to drop, or are they gonna actually be going out to Gooch's and Belltown and helping lighten the load for maintenance and helping to do those trucks as
The
well?
way we've got it structured right now is that team, those 2 people on each shift would be responsible for checking all the McDonald Green trucks. The other teams would never go in that station.
Yes.
So on their shift, they would check all those trucks, take care of that station, run the mutual aid calls that McDonald Green would normally run, and anything that's a structure fire or an extrication anywhere in the county during that day shift. They would not be going out to the other stations around McDonald Green. That would be the west side crew. That's how it's structured right now.
Okay. So the crew at McDonald Green will be responding out throughout the county for structure
During the
fires?
day and the night and the weekends.
Okay.
On extrications.
Yeah, and
structure
work and
fires.
confirm structure fires, not a,
And
smoking area.
that's very thin to begin with. it begins to get better when you get the second station
And the third station, agreed, 100% agreed.
That's why it's pretty critical that you vote on a full concept plan, but McDonald Green's the first step. If you don't take the first step.
Yeah, I mean, I agree and wholeheartedly, I don't know if anyone can disagree that we do need more paid staff across this county. I think that's a mutual consensus between everyone. It's just that, you know, those guys are just gonna sit there and check the same 4 trucks every day for 7 days a week, when it could be, that could be utilized to go out and help and easing the burden of the other 9 people that's gonna be. So now we got 4 people on the west side during the day and 4 people on the south and east side. So that's what I was trying to, you know, break up and see how that was gonna play out.
And your highest call volume on the west side.
Agreed.
But the duty is the same. The team is at a station a day. They don't go to 2 or 3 stations in a day, they go to 1. So the duty is the same. The team at McDonald Green does the McDonald Green trucks. You gotta check the truck before you get on it that day for a run. So that's a daily thing.
So, I have a question. You said that during the 8 to 5, that they'll be going across town?
If there's a structure fire or
You're gonna pull from the west side to go,
You just
cause
don't have a west
all
side team.
your other teams is gonna be on the east and south side, correct?
No, you still have a west side team.
Still have a west side team.
yeah.
But why would you pull all
Yeah.
your full-time personnel away when
Away.
you got,
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Well,
that's what I'm
it
getting at.
makes
You
sense
got-
to leave
you
the
got-
2 to sit there floating at McDonald Green if the west side team was to respond outside of that coverage area.
And that may be the case. I don't dictate, and then Chris can tell you this, I don't call on the radio and tell people where to go.
Right.
That's his job. And if he thinks that team can stay at McDonald Green and the other team will go, that's what will happen.
Just want that
he'll
clarified.
be
I was
the
just making
battalion
sure.
chief.
Yeah, so I understand what you're saying is like
You're
at
gonna pull the whole west
at 2
side.
PM, we catch a structure
Right.
fire,
But I can't
everybody's
sit here and
leaving.
guarantee you that there's not a big enough event that everybody in the county, including this office, won't be
yeah.
at.
I agree with that.
Yeah, but that's,
Yeah.
that's,
I mean,
that's,
that's a no-brainer. I just
This
wanna
is
make
just,
sure that was clarified.
this is just growing pains until the
That's
second
right.
station's up, and then the third station's up, and then, you know.
If it's a wreck, a tremor, or a structure fire, only 4 teams and myself are going anyway. That's the way we operate now, so unless it's bad enough, then we'll pull another team, but we'll still have 2 teams of 4 available to run other calls.
And he will still, as battalion chief, he'll still be directing that. So,
Right.
just like he does now.
so even in today, there's only gonna be 3 trucks
3
going
trucks
that way.
on
The other
structure
2
fire.
trucks are gonna remain available for the rest of the
And
county,
then.
unless it's big.
If I ain't mistaken, you're talking about just checking trucks and waiting on calls. I think, Darren and I had talked about them.
Pre-planning.
and
Pre-planning,
stuff like
yes,
that.
100%.
Kind of like a.
There's a lot in
it'll
that
be a
fire district
full-time
that
fire
needs to be
department.
done, that's not getting done right now, because nobody has the time to do it.
On the Monday and Friday, the 3 teams will be in the other area of the county to help
So-
cover that area.
So we're gonna try to work to replace one of the teams on the county 10 to keep a 4-man truck, a 4-truck staff during the day?
With part-time.
Okay, with part-time. Okay. Could we not go ahead and maybe talk to council about trying to get 2 more full-time positions that could roll out to
Well,
another station?
remember that in the McDonald Green plan, we're asking for another captain position.
Yeah.
So we're asking for another pretty high paid position, that's a top level position. So if we're able to get that, that keeps us from having to pull that one other person out of the group.
So which would keep a full-time and a part-time in the truck
Yeah,
during the day.
but that may or may not happen. Only council can designate
Yes.
a brand new position.
Yeah.
I think you support that concept, but I will support with the fire commission.
So I, you know, and that's what I was thinking. I mean, if we're gonna start pulling and starting station, we might need to go ahead and start seeking to recover that manpower that we're losing as we go, or we're gonna end up with no teams that run. Cause even after we do get the 3 stations around staff,
Still gotta have the other
you
group.
still need them trucks running Monday through Friday.
Yes.
I mean, even if we staff all these stations with 2 per day, I
Well, you're
mean,
never gonna have staff in every station. So
Yes.
there's always gonna be stations that need to be serviced on a weekly basis.
yes.
And that, the duties just change as the other dynamics change.
Okay, I understand.
Monday and Friday, 3 teams, if you don't have a 4th, and 310's gonna make sure they in the other parts of the county.
I think that's what exactly done,
Mr. President, got a question.
Yes.
It come from our station and I know McDonald Green's done told them that they was gonna basically give the county ownership of the house to house the crew. And I know it was spoke about that the station was gonna have to basically give over the station to the county. I'll tell you, I mean, cause I had asked a question before, when that station gives over ownership to the county, that station can no longer do fundraisers. That was what was brought up, correct?
No.
Well, that what you had said, that station could no longer do fundraisers if the county owns that station.
No, I never said that.
Okay, but just I wanted to get that out, you know, it's
You still got volunteer membership. You would not own the building because the county would need to own the building in order to put people in the building. If the county's not putting people in your building, that's not even worth it. But you would continue to operate as a volunteer department. You would operate in that building.
As an organization.
Sir?
As an organization.
As an organization, yes. And you'd be able to do your fundraisers. Now, would it be harder to fundraise if they know career people in that station being paid for with tax money? Possibly. I don't know the answer to that question.
I don't think it would change, because
I don't
most
think it
people
would
think the
either,
county owns
because
the
we're
fire
not-
departments already.
Most people are gonna understand, we're not staffing with a full complement of career people. We're staffing with a supplement complement of career people, still dependent on the volunteer response.
The only time that you wouldn't be able to do fundraisers is if you do like a rooftop fee or a village. That's whenever your fundraiser would stop.
Really, that's, when we first started talking about this, we were talking about doing a fire fee or fire millage just for it. And that's when we were talking about that each station would be getting a certain amount of money, or they wouldn't be able to, probably wouldn't be able to do fundraisers anymore. But now that it's not a designated fire fee, it's still basically asking to do fundraisers if you want to. People are not looking on their taxes and saying, hey, we're paying extra for fire service while we're going to support them on their barbecue. It won't be like that on this.
But the one advantage to the county owning the facility is then the county's responsible for the maintenance and the upkeep, which is part of the reason we all have to do fundraisers, because right now, nobody helps us with maintenance and upkeep. We pay an awful lot from the county budget, but we don't pay for shingles on the roof, and we don't pay for doors going in the day and that kind of thing, so. The building of the station, the maintenance of the station is always, is the station's responsibility.
Even after the county is turned over to the county?
No, it would be a county facility at that point, and you wouldn't have to worry about that.
My question is that, you said if they put the firefighters in there, it's gotta be turned over to the county. Well, like my station's owned by the town, it's built into town hall. So that puts us out.
I don't know that it does. That would end up being probably the two councils being able to make an agreement. That's a lawyer question. I don't think it would be an issue as long as council would agree.
Well, it's one thing, East Springs had been talked about to start with from the beginning of doing this, until we moved to Don Green.
You were ready to go.
Yeah, I'd already talked to town council, and some of them had kind of put this in the ear. So I mean, that kind of puts me which way I vote. If that's gonna put us out, if I'm not going to put people at my station, ever. I mean, that's.
No, well, my opinion, and I'm not a lawyer about it, so I understand that, but my opinion was as long as the two councils can agree, that could be done with a contractual agreement between the two councils, which are two governmental agencies.
Just that we put three positions in the city of Lancaster now, so there can be an intergovernmental agreement.
Any other questions?
I would make a statement. We talked about it, the staff did, and it was more of a concern, and and the chief knew the three people in the city what would last forever. So it's not really necessarily about the people. It's more of a concern that there's no longer will be a heavy rescue or automatic response. I mean, you've got two guys stationed there, but not quite as central as the city, but there's just not that automatic response anymore. It's gonna be taken away. With a heavy rescue. That was one concern there.
So we've got a heavy rescue in the plan to be purchased if we would buy the trucks, but still, the two people would be running those calls.
We were basing this off the presentation. I mean, our conversation was based off what we saw, and it wasn't talking about a heavy rescue, so I didn't know.
Right now, there's not a heavy rescue to talk about.
And I personally think, just random conversation I've heard, I think that has been the biggest holdup or hiccup in this is you explained a little better tonight about, this is just an overview. So I think a lot of the conversation I've heard has just said that more details. I mean, this is just a kind of an idea or concept, and it's got nothing to do, like we said, we've already technically approved the Donald Green stuff. It's the year 2 and 3 that I've just heard lots of conversation about not having a lot of details. A lot of stuff still out there and open or up in the air.
So in what phase are the 3 from the city gonna be pulled out back into the county service? Second year. Okay, so at that point, the city will no longer be big brothering out to the counties.
There would be, that particular agreement will go away. Now, whether or not the city's still responding or not, I have not a clue at this point. There's a lot of things going on in this county. The city has annexed a tremendous amount of area on both sides of the city. Part of that they can cover, and part of it I don't know if they can cover or not. They might need some help, and that help would require some other agreements. That's a administrator to administrator question, not something we would be involved in.
Okay, and so we have a heavy rescue in the plans, regarding just one. So at what location would that be planned to provide assistance, you know, to the McDonald Green, Belltown, Tradesville, and Flat Creek areas that could be accommodating in that facet? As to where the city, you know, they're within, 12 to 15 minutes next time to all those.
You could essentially put the heavy rescue either at the Linwood maintenance facility, or you can put it at our station for the paid guys
But then Donald Green responding to Tradesville
on the heavy rescue. But
Yeah.
that would be,
well, on a Big Brother station. You know, if you're the Big Brother now, if that one rescue is gonna be the Big Brother for the east, west, and the south, strategically, where could we put that would be geographically capable of making it a decent response time?
Part of it will be determined by which station's got a room.
So I'm just looking at.
Right now would be Charlotte.
So
That would be the only next place that would be centrally located that would even be kind of near where the city would be Charlotte, if they would be willing to even do that.
So
when the rescue plan was created about Big Brother, it's because Big Brother had education tools already. They already had airbags and business trucks, things like that. A lot after, in a couple of months, every fire department in this county is gonna have airbags now.
Yeah.
A lot of them's got added to their education complement. Everybody's got lifting trucks. There's a lot of stuff that we didn't have and wasn't planned at that time when Big Brother was created.
Okay, right now,
so essentially,
all south end, the Big Brother is Kershaw. City's not coming out.
yeah. I understand that, Indian Land's gonna be the Big Brother to the north end, Kershaw's the Big Brother to the south end, and now Kershaw's gonna be losing that one person as well, correct?
Not necessarily. It depends on where the station ends up being, when that second station or third station is decided on. Again, that's down the road.
Yeah.
That discussion will have to be had at that time with whoever's negotiating that contract. So to say emphatically, yes, I can't do that today.
so that and airbag, just about all the rescues in the county would be considered heavy rescues.
I would say heavy rescues, they'll have more stuff, yeah.
Right.
What about funding? What avenues of funding are gonna be explored to cover these new positions and things like that? Is the county looking into millages and fee districts and countywide, things like that? Because if you do a countywide fee district, you just shot all the volunteers in their fundraising efforts, regardless if we got paid staff or not. So now Johnny down the street from me is already paying his millage or whatever to the fire fee, regardless if we got paid staff in our area or not. Our volunteers station is gonna suffer due to the people already paying the tax. They're not gonna wanna come buy chicken and rice. You know, they're not gonna wanna buy barbecue. You know, they're already paying a millage to the county to provide a service, and that's gonna shoot the volunteers in the foot. The ones that are not getting the paid stations.
What was presented at the council retreat, and we're gonna talk about again next Wednesday, is using existing county funds for operating for the positions. So when you talk about doing the, equipment purchase, the apparatus purchase and stuff, the vehicle for that will probably be a countywide proposed millage just for apparatus.
Okay.
Yeah, but the proposal that we've given the council at retreat already, and we'll talk about again, is to see if they'll add the positions to the existing budget. But that again, we'll put strain on the budget or have a good conversation about how we can do all this together, county needs. So that'll be the balancing act to be put together with the budget proposal this year. But we'll get a sense on Wednesday where council is about potentially adding positions. And we gave them the numbers that you all saw about, I mean, we're ultimately talking in 2 years, another $2 million just for fire staffing operations.
Yeah, and that's why I had the question of where's this money gonna come from, because obviously we can't just find 2 million in the existing budget.
Part of that responsibility will fall to all of us, volunteer and career, to help educate the public of, yes, you may be paying a little bit more in taxes to fund this, but you are not funding a fire service that's career. You're funding a supplemental career. I'm still needed as a volunteer, and if you don't support me, I'm not gonna be able to be here, and then your taxes are really gonna go up. The county budget would pretty much double if we had to fund a full-size career fire service for this county. That was, we pulled those numbers back in 2006. National Volunteer Fire Council has a spreadsheet, I don't have it now, but at that time it would cost $42 million. This was in 2006. $42 million to staff this county with the necessary number of personnel to respond to the fire that we had then. And our call volume is.
And that doesn't include building stations to house.
It does not include building stations.
Yeah,
It does include apparatus cost, but it did not include the cost of building stations.
Seeing that, you talk about those numbers increasing like that, if we was to have to go full pay. Is there any kind of consideration being given to try to keep some of the volunteers we got?
We've always made that kind of, because that's what the whole recruitment retention program is about.
I mean, is that something we could, some kind of incentive we could think about in the future to kind of supplement what we got now?
I mean, there's all kinds of ideas people can throw out. I'm sure council would look at anything that can help maintain the volunteer system, as long as it meets the law in South Carolina. I think council would probably be willing to entertain. They funded our recruitment retention program, and we've never expended it all, but they've left that money there just so we got it if we have enough volunteers to get the stipend. There's some that get the full stipend, and there's a lot of people who get a little bit because they don't participate that much. The more they participate, the more they get.
But no, I mean, it's still a volunteer-based system. I mean, so this proposal for some staffing still relies on volunteers.
Well, I think the issue is with the generational change that where people don't want to volunteer anymore. So you could do away with recruitment and retention, and I would still volunteer tomorrow. I mean, and that's what I've always done, and I think that goes for most everybody in here. They don't come in here and try to fatten their stipend or anything. I think it's just the generation. The volunteers are going away. People are having to work 60 to 80 hours a week just to make ends meet. And they don't have time to go sit down for a 200-hour class just to get a black belt.
That's something we've got to think about, because we're getting, I'm getting old.
I am too.
30 years.
And that's why I'm here in favor of paid staff going around me. I mean, I am. Because I'm not gonna be here forever.
I'm not either,
So
but
we
I'm
gotta
saying, like you said, stuff's changing. Well, maybe we need to change how we think it might get people in here. I mean, I know there's a lot to this now. But when I joined, took a couple classes, you were good to go.
Basically 42 hours.
Yeah.
That's really changed. But that's not our doing, that's OSHA and the other regulations, that we have no control over, you understand that? The training component is the thing that has quelled the number. The response, once people get the training, you know, they may respond until they get the annual requirements. But, I don't know, I mean, we go to all kind of conferences, and we listen to what other people say they're doing, and we're doing everything, pretty much, keep chime in. I think we're doing everything and then some that other people say they're doing that they're having some success with. We
Our
are not.
success on our high school program is the best in the state.
Yeah.
And I can say that, that's really true.
We don't have the results, but Sam probably won first, second, and third place in the Career Center competition this week. The Richland County got scared and they canceled their school, so they didn't do the awards part of the ceremony. And they all came back home, and I don't think, of course, his wife's had surgery today, so I don't know if Sam's heard anything from them. Rick, you haven't heard anything, have you? Okay, so we'll know next week, but he feels pretty comfortable that he's got first, second, third place in that competition. Our guys blew him away. One did so well on the interview that somebody made him a job offer, and he ain't even 18 yet. So when he turned 18, he called him, he'll put him to work.
But that's working, and I believe young folks, I know what you're saying, I'm getting old too. If we can tap into the younger folks before, that's where it's at. High school, we gotta captivate it. If we can captivate them just out of high school too, college, we might be able to do better there. That's maybe what we need to do. That seems to be working for us.
You all know the state increased the volunteer incentive program to $6,000 for a deduction this year instead of $3,000. So even the state of South Carolina is trying to help. If you file your taxes, that makes a difference, especially if you do itemized taxes.
Any other questions, concern? You got any? Let's get it all out around this table while we're talking about it, so we can try to figure out what your concern is and how to get around it. All right. Y'all ready to vote on the proposal?
Bob has been trying to get on, but he can't get his app to work there, and I can't help him with that.
We're gonna do this roll call vote.
I think it's 1 minute, we're gonna get him on the phone.
Will that be legal?
That'll be up to y'all. I can put him on FaceTime, which is probably any different. Well, I can't put him on FaceTime, he must have an app there.
I got another question I'd like to ask. This fails to that.
Everybody, Mr. Fred got a question.
Is this gonna be a vote only on the very first half of the thing, and the other two parts is gonna be coming later? Or is it for the whole thing?
Well, whoever, we need to get somebody to make a motion, and that motion needs to, spell out exactly what it's gonna be voting for.
If I'm not mistaken, it's already been passed and approved on the first phase anyway, correct? So really, it's just gonna be for the whole plan for second and third.
I'd say, make a motion.
I mean, am I not correct on that?
No,
Yeah.
that's my understanding.
Yeah. So, I mean, first phase has already been approved and voted on. The second year, third year.
What I understand though, the whole plan was brought about at the last meeting. But there were so many questions and things about it until it was not even, so technically the plan hasn't been approved yet. Right?
On the second, third.
Putting people at McDonald Green is approved by this board. But, if someone makes a motion they can, state that the second and third year, just to, move ahead, second and third year, but not specifically where the location's gonna be.
Make a motion to vote on the second and third year. So what Clint said, I think of the Don Green's part, but we already approved it. This is the second and third year plan we're looking at.
Or do we wanna just do it as the plan as a whole?
What
would be
the plan as a whole? You could do that, and that would answer Mr. Fred's question.
Yeah, that way everything's
About
clear.
bringing Don Green into the mix again. What you say is you want to continue with what you already have voted to support with Don Green, moving forward this current budget year. You support the concept of 2 more stations,
But not
specific where they're at today. That would be a later plan, but that would allow my budget numbers to go in, so council's got something to plan with. That, it may not be this year, it would not be the next budget year, but the following budget year before all of that would go in, so you're looking at 3 years. So, 2.5 years before you get it down. So, if everybody is, if the thing's causing the problem or the confusion is the location of the station, that's something you can discuss, because it will not happen quickly. It's gotta be developed. So you can develop it one place or the other as y'all decide to do that. But then that allows us to give them all the numbers, so they know what they're looking at 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road as they're making these plans. Back to Toby's question about funding.
I spent, along with other people, a year and a half coming up here once a month for an hour or more and working on all this stuff, and all of a sudden we have a different plan. When we talk about something, there's something different. And I understand completely what you're saying, but I just have a hard time, voting for a plan it's more of a concept or an idea, and we may or may not have a say in it. I mean, or it might be something completely different that's presented, because that's what's happened a lot lately. I mean, I don't know, I just kind of.
And I think what Tom's trying to say is once we approve the concept and it goes forward, it moves over to paid staff, which Fire Commission has no control over paid staff. So once we vote to get county's blessings to approve all this, then it falls under your jurisdiction where you do what you want when you want.
I can't play stations, because that.
Yeah, agreed, but you could have a mutual agreement with a station and fall in it that way. I think that's, where the paid staff's gonna be stationed, Fire Commission won't have any say over that.
No, that's not necessarily true either. There's legal things that have to be met.
Agreed.
In order for a station to be used, put career staff in. Where that ends up being will definitely need to be a Fire Commission consideration, because the last thing we want to do is alienate the entire volunteer fire service. And putting 6 people in this building, 6 people in that building, that's 12 people. That's not 243 people. And that's what we got right now in the volunteer service.
Speaking on the pay staff didn't have a clue about this plan until Fire Commission night, when it was brought to everybody else. And then we went over it the next day. So it was not pay staff that made that decision.
Yeah, agreed. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know.
That's not what I'm saying. But I'll make a motion to go forward with the McDonald Green, the whole deal there, and the concept of adding 2 more stations over the next several years.
With the Fire Commission being involved in the placement of the
Agreed.
stations.
With Fire Commission being involved in the placement of those stations.
So we already have a motion on the floor, though.
I say.
Well, my understanding, we didn't approve Donald Green's plan, we talked about his second, third year plan.
So if your motion was public said.
So let's vote on the second, third year plan.
What I've got is basically continue moving forward with what has already been approved. Support the concept of the station locations to be determined by commission. Is that or at a later date?
Fire Commission at a later date.
Just be sure you don't put in this McDonald Green plan as on the county.
Well, the same concept of
What
what we're
we're
doing.
saying was the McDonald Green plan, it is not
Right,
McDonald
I
Green
just wanna
plan.
make sure that it's
Yeah,
not.
Well, it's pretty much the concept of what's going on at McDonald Green to add 2 more of those in the future.
Be strategic about
I don't want nobody thinking,
it. Look at your
You done
volume
created
and
the
your
plan?
budget.
yeah, I would do.
Then we might be putting an extra station in the city of Lancaster, just looking at growth, because lots of stuff going on for them.
Y'all got Station 3 already in the book. Yeah. And the land, that was one of the annexations, was the land for that station. Randy said y'all taking all the ditches.
The main thing we're voting on is personnel for future.
We're gonna work with the city.
Read that, everybody listen up, Brian gonna read this out.
What I got right. The motion was to continue moving forward with what has already been approved by the commission. Support the concept with support the additional concepts of the other stations. The station locations will be determined by fire commission at a later date.
But vote on the presentation, shouldn't you say something about staffing? Because that was a major part of the presentation, was how we're gonna
The
staff.
staffing plan, yeah, we basically need to include the staffing plan, because the concept's the staffing plan.
Place at 2 different stations over a period of time.
Yeah.
Plan that's already given, minus the locations. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. The specific to the location.
Fire commission
That would
decided
include the
that
personnel.
at a later date.
Yeah.
Eric had the motion. Are you satisfied with that word?
We're gonna make sure everything's right before we do anything.
It's a good thing.
It's a gold mine calling in, so I don't know.
What they say?
It does have, because cost of insurance company's gonna.
Did you ever get the bond?
I did not. He tried to get in, but he's never gotten in, and he didn't answer when I tried to call him.
Ernest Scott Road, right outside the gold mine, it's got a gas mill. There's a bunch of houses that gold mine owns right in that area, so probably some type of things.
Alright, y'all, listen up. Got it.
Alright, to move forward with staffing plan of year 1 with first year staffing model as presented at McDonald Green. At a later date, move forward with year 2 and 3 of staffing plan through fire commission.
Hang on, that sounds kinda complicated, could you read that one more time?
Minus the location, location to be determined at a later date by fire commission.
What it is for.
Alright, we're gonna go again.
To move forward with staffing plan of year 1 with first year staffing at McDonald Green. At a later date, move forward with year 2 and 3 of staffing plan with locations to be determined by fire commission.
Eric, that what you, motion?
That's what you said.
Yeah, we'd like to move on second and third year plan. We don't go forward with what Don Green's situation is.
And what he just said, your motion?
Yep.
Got a motion on the floor, there a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Alright, we're gonna do this by roll call vote. Brian?
Antioch.
No.
Belltown.
Yes.
Buford.
No.
Camp Creek.
Yes.
Van Wyck.
Yes.
Elgin.
No.
Black Creek.
Yes.
East Springs.
Yes.
Indian Land.
Yes.
Riverside.
Yes.
Trazel.
Yes.
Unity.
No.
Don Green.
Yes.
Shiloh Zion.
No.
Roll call, then we'll go through.
There's unless it's a tie.
Got the city too.
Yeah, you got the city.
My bad. I was going by numbers. I'm sorry.
No.
City of Lancaster.
No.
I got 6 yes. I'm sorry, 9 yes, 6 no. We'll count that again.
Chairman has brought it to your own record, so you don't have to go.
9 yes. 6 no.
On record, and yes, Richard.
10 yeas, 6 no. Yeah, but he voted yes.
Richard,
You can't include it in that vote.
I got you.
I'm not that matter.
No, I mean, yeah. But I'm still saying.
Good boy.
I really appreciate all the discussion tonight. That's what we need on all the stuff that comes to this table. Good discussion. Where everybody's opinion can be heard, and any problems can get worked out. Move on to, report on first view.
ESNs have been added, mutual aids and, automatic mutual aids. And it's been, submitted. I haven't had time, I'll explain in a minute, to look at it this week, so I'm not sure what's been done. I know we still have some duplicates that they're working out, that we had disabled inside on our side, so nobody picks them, so it won't be as hard to get rid of them. But, they're still working on some, getting rid of, I think it's like 3 duplicates left. And of course, with other things going on, I haven't had time. I'll have a better report next meeting.
Said mutual aid added, what do you mean?
There's a drop-down box for mutual aid, added or given, received or given, and, you couldn't put anything in there, and that was submitted for all that to be put in.
Any questions or comments on first view?
Any idea when it's gonna start being handed over to some of the stations in use?
Once we get all the duplicates out and get with all this stuff that's pertinent to how we set up in this county is what's holding us up. If we were just an individual fire department, like the city, we'd be done already. But this stuff is particular that they're having to change to how we operate. But it's pretty close.
So a new member coming in, will they get first due or after 911?
Probably first year quicker, because we got to, there's a little different process in adding that to 911s. If we have somebody leave, you know, I automatically put the next, I keep the staff. So I go to the top, I put the last ones on the back. It's a little different process than adding. In the past, we would just pay for extra users on the credit card, but it's not that process no more. So, it's a little different process than adding that to 911 users now. Like I said, last meeting, this is the first time in a while we've actually added, needing to add positions into Act 911. In the past, we've had enough to leave that we could add them, just pretty much rotation. It's not that way anymore. So it's a good thing. We're getting members that.
So do we pay for?
Overcoming our time.
Do we pay for extra members in first due,
No,
or is it all?
not.
Okay, so at some point we're gonna drop paying active.
No time soon.
Okay.
It's a redundant, but it's a good redundancy.
Yeah, agreed.
Anybody else? Move on to, turning, fire report.
We weren't able to do a report this morning.
Yeah. Let's see, we didn't get that report for you. My administrative staff is zero this week. Julie's mother ended up in the hospital and she's been there with her. Of course, Ann left. Ann did come back in and work to help get our package out for this last week. She wasn't able to come back in this week and do it. So we don't have that report tonight. But I have talked to the chiefs that had the higher numbers that were not turned in, and all of those chiefs assure me that they're working on that to whittle them down and get them turned in. So
We figure out anything on the, lost emails? What might be?
I haven't heard anything else lately. A couple of them that were asked, I haven't heard anybody, I mean, I don't know Greg, but I haven't heard anybody else saying that anything lost lately.
the only thing we did notice was that if somebody sent from a Gmail account, sometimes they need to get.
That's one thing we're looking through some hours.
And it's not even getting caught in the filter, it's not even being accepted into the system. And that's just our firewall, it's doing that. Not even the filter.
And I have the same problem when the career people do, a vacation request or a sick day request. If they use their personal cell phone and send it from their email account, it goes to the junk folder on my email, and I never dump my junk at the junk anymore without checking it. Cause there's several and they're always there.
One thing that I've asked before, it's been a while, but Slight, the full-time guys runs calls in our district, our station, fire station. I've asked before, can we get a copy of that report they run? That would help us out on some hours. Who runs what, if I'm helping that report and I'm not there. I've asked before if we could get a copy of what they run at our station.
So you didn't get it when you asked for it?
No, that's.
I'm talking about automatically get
Oh,
one.
yeah, automatically get one.
Is that a real problem, or can we do?
No, they're not doing reports on.
Well, they're doing it on their
They're doing
laptops.
it on the truck computers.
Yeah, we can email that to the chief.
And pay attention to your missing reports as well, because me and Chris found one on me that was Joshua Tree and Rocky River, which is probably 12, 14 miles away. And I called Chris, I emailed Chris and Julie, just say, hey, we didn't run this. Chris looked at CAD, and it was a dispatch that started the card and closed it right back out, which then generated a run for me. And
they hit the wrong.
I don't know what they did, but naturally, I thought that the county guys might have been at my station and just took my truck, which is no problem. But that's why I emailed Chris about it.
If they hear an individual sign on,
that's a card,
or get on the radio, and it's not your district, they gonna punch you a card. They're gonna do it.
That's why Antioch ends up with a lot of calls for Philip on the radio in other places. He thought he was going on as police chief back years ago, but he wasn't even in the CAD system. He was only in there as Antioch one.
We've been working on the ones we got, and I found a few problems with it. I sent Sutherland this week, get called
Well,
up.
you're not gonna get an answer this week yet.
Well, I didn't know she was here, but, like you said, I found a couple that was, when I was running calls for Kershaw was my pay position, I was getting gig for East Springs. And I worked some of that with Julie's already, but I'm still looking for those, make sure that we have it in. It's only a few, but.
It's really bad because it takes you a number, it takes one of your numbers. Not as
Yeah.
that pertinent, but if you're keeping up with it in a row, it takes one of your numbers.
Yeah.
Put it on calling anyway.
I'm about catching our numbers up then, unfortunately, you get something there.
Back to that comment a minute ago, so when 17's truck rolled with Nutramax the other week, they started a card for 17, and, I mean, we get, 17 gets, I mean, it's not like a no response because the truck went in route. It's just that none of the members will get credit because they didn't page anybody out. Is that,
You'll get credit for the call because 17's truck went.
I mean, as far as individual members and,
Was it 17's call?
No.
no,
I showed it up and they said no, the pagers had never gone off. And I was wondering, cause I was sitting there watching my truck go down the road and they weren't wanting to go into it, so I followed. Of course. And, I showed up and they said, oh, well, this is Station 4's district. They got the call because it was a service call. Come to find out, it really wasn't a service call.
I think we can fix that problem by.
I've already got that addressed this week.
We'll add the stations to the call.
Anytime they take the station's truck out of y'all's station, y'all will be paged out. And if they don't need you, they'll cancel you.
That sounds good. And then that way we'll know.
Correct, yes.
Wait, you talking about playing again?
So if they're at, I'll take the example from Station 4. They were doing a road test the other day, come up on an outside fire.
No.
That's what I was told.
No. They seen the smoke, standing over there checking the trucks. He walked in my station, walked by one of my members, a lieutenant, said, I'm gonna take the truck down the road. Got in the truck, drove to an outside fire, extinguished the fire in my district, and never told nobody in my fire department that there was a fire in my district.
Okay.
It was not, he was road testing and drove up on it.
So from here on out, it doesn't matter if they're driving, testing a truck or not. If they run up on a call in your truck, they're gonna start your station, have your station paid out for that call.
So it's not that they was road testing and just run up on a call, because the other truck left in front of my brush truck. When he pulled out of my station with my brush truck, I got a lieutenant sitting in here, doing reports.
We can deal with that later.
And, we never knew that there was a fire in my district.
Whenever Miss Julie sends those emails out, please, go through them, look at them. Any of them, if not your call, please let her know. She'll mark them off. But if they are yours, just please, get them done and get them turned in. On to, new business, fire commission budget.
The current year budget, most everybody's turned in their orders, I think, we're doing pretty good on that, stuff's coming in gangbusters. I appreciate you, obviously people are coming, picking their stuff up, because the suite's not completely filled, so I appreciate you coming by and getting that. The new budget, as I mentioned a while ago, not only is the staffing positions important, but I've already gone through all the fusion spreadsheets with the different budgets. Billy and I went back to the minutes and we have added everything that you all have requested to be added into the fire commission budget. We've asked for an increase in travel and training. And the county is doing something different now called mileage as well, because that goes with the GSA. We have both career and volunteer who take training out of the fire commission budget. The career budget we're trying to build, but it is not nearly substantial enough to do all the career training out of that. We've always, the lion's share of the money's always been in the fire commission budget. So now that they're adding mileage, they've added another line item for that, and I basically looked at what we're doing. Ours is not so much mileage, it's per diem. Because everybody that goes to training just about with the fire service is in a county sponsored vehicle. We don't get mileage for that, that's already paid for. So it is the per diem charge that goes out, and we send a lot of people to the different conferences. Volunteers go to the conference, they get the same per diem that the career people get when they're going. When we do the trip to the beach, which is strictly for volunteers for the Firefighter Association conference, what I generally do is, what I always do is I take the mileage from that person's home to the hotel at the beach and back, and then add extra 50 miles for driving around in the beach. They do get mileage because they're driving their own vehicle. And then we do the per diem on top of that when we figure the trip. So there's $25,000 in that line item for per diem and mileage that goes with the training. Supplies general, that's been increased or requested increase of $45,000 due to the equipment cost tripling in the last 4 years, and no increases in that line item during those 4 years. And the equipment's got to be replaced for the active firefighters, and out of this line item, it's both career and volunteer. And we have got quite a few more career people in the system now than we used to have. And the volunteers are holding their own, thankfully, and the equipment wears out, it has to be replaced. There is no clothing in the fire commission budget anymore. In the equipment general, which is the allocation to the fire departments, you asked for that to be increased. I took it to $10,800 per station. The final thing was we also added back in that $100,000 request that a station could request up to $5,000 to the commission, and once it justified it, the commission could authorize that $5,000 to be used by that station to buy equipment. So the total of that line item comes to $486,640. Equipment clothing, that's the school program. It has always had $55,000 in it. We're asking that it stay at $55,000. That funds that program, and I think most everybody around this table would agree that's probably one of the reasons we haven't lost numbers in our volunteers, and that program has been really successful in placing young people into career firefighter jobs as well. Where are we at now, Brett? 44. 44 people out of that program have gotten careers in the fire service. Most all of those people are either in career or doing volunteer service, a lot of them in this very county. So that's where what little bit of loss we've had, they've made up that loss, and that program's been self-sustaining. And as I said, Sam's got a good record of the competitions. Last year, Landon Philliman won the state, then won the national. They didn't go international, but we won as far as he went. And he now works at Pleasant Valley, or Indian Land, I'm sorry. But we're gonna lose him to Charlotte more than likely.
Not this year.
Not this year, but probably next year. We just know that's coming. But we're using him while we got him and we trained him, so we'd be proud of it. Utilities, a little bit of an increase there. Telephones, that has never been in the fire commission budget, but we've got your iPads in there this year for the new budget. I talked to IT and told them that really needed to be in this budget because it particularly goes to the volunteer departments. There's career stuff in the career budget for the iPads and in the staff trucks. So this is the beginning of that line item. This year you paid for that out of your special projects. You authorized us to do that. So we're trying to get those. They are not hot yet, I don't think, are they, Dylan?
No, close.
Yeah.
I think.
What, we waiting on
Yeah, I think
to get some,
they're really
what we're
close.
putting on them.
Okay. The maintenance to vehicles, asked for an increase of $50,000 there. That takes that line item to $213,000. Gasoline, we asked for an increase of 10,000, gas went up, then I heard today gas is coming down, so gas is up and down, we really never know for sure. But I looked at our budget that we have this year, and we're gonna be close if not over. So I felt like we better go ahead and ask for 10, we haven't really increased that in a good while. Maintenance general, asked for a 10,000 increase in there, takes it to 55,000. And again, that's because of career personnel coming in, things wearing out, things that have to be purchased to keep service there, as well as the equipment that's on volunteers. There's several different line items that we get equipment out of. Maintenance service agreement. IT has got some ideas about that. It's so First View, which is our RMS system, and that this year it was $56,000. I've asked for it to be increased to $60,000. They've established a new line item. This year I paid for it out of Maintenance Service General. You would have seen that on your breakout. They're putting it in a new line item called 605-88, which is where all the software licenses are going to live. They will pay them, but we've got to have the money in our budget. So that line item will be in our budget, but they'll keep up with them, keep the renewals going, all that. Plus it gives the county a good idea of all the different service agreements that we've got throughout, because all our agencies have a lot of different things we've been doing, and nobody really knew, other than the people in the agency, what was going on. So let's get a handle on everything that's out there that's being renewed. Contractual services, this line item substantially increased on the request. It went to $178,452. That's to pick up. Safety requires third-party providers. We're using that on SCBA flow testing, cylinder hydro testing, ladder testing, the ladder truck testing, and we need to be testing our airbags and the other rescue equipment. So we asked for that to go up. I actually asked for it to go up to $186,000. IT pulled $7,548 out of that and transferred it in for software licenses that have to do with Billy and Philip and Anthony's software that they use to diagnose these trucks. So that came out of the $186,000, leaving $178,452 for all these other.
Hose testing included in that.
Hose testing is included in that, yes. Yes, sir. How much did it end up costing, Billy? This year.
That's a very good question, because the only number I got right now is the spring number.
The spring number?
I don't have the fall number right here.
Okay. We're sort of swagging that one right now, but yes, sir, it is all the stations, and we're doing, what, half of them in the spring and half of them in the fall? So we're catching every station, but we're doing it at two different parts, two different times of the year. Let's see. I asked for the insurance to go up $10,000. There's two things we do out of the insurance general account. We pay for the provident policies, which is the accidental disability, or the accident disability policy, and the accidental death policy we carry on every firefighter in the county, whether they are career or volunteer. We have, Indian Land has substantially increased their numbers of career people this year. So I've asked for another $10,000 to go into that, because I'm sure they're going to increase that cost, but it's based on the number of people in our program. So they've increased, we've increased in here, and we got a few more volunteers, and we held our own. So we're doing good in that aspect, but it is costing more. Special projects, funding level needs to be maintained there. Hazmat program comes out of that. The foam we purchased comes out of that, the Class A foam particularly. When we need Class B, we do that. Class A we use on a regular occasion with our gas engines, fighting structure fires and whatever, grass fires as well, along with the monitoring equipment, the databases, and the CIP request to upfit McDonald Green's Fire Department has $50,000 for that for the first year to upfit that department. That brings that special projects line item to $223,000 $587. Special promotions is the $2,000 we give everybody for their insurance. Of course, we combined Indian Land, Pleasant Valley, now it's Indian Land. So there's only 17 departments that get that 2,000, so that's a $34,000 line item. And then IT has now added the copier lease into our budget. That's $4,300. They had that in another line item that they just paid. I think we may have been responsible for it, but we never saw that line item before. Matching funds is at $38,000. We didn't ask for an increase in that this year, and so far we're probably good. I don't know that we would have needed an increase. By the time we get done, most everything is shaking out there. And then equipment capitalized is the brush truck program. There's $304,016 in there. It has to do with the current CIP, brush truck annual replacement, and then it says the Project 9 ongoing, and I gotta look that up. I didn't have a chance to see that till a few minutes ago. So that comes out of CIP. So part of that number we had in there, part of that number was added by finance into this. So that's the budget based on your request back in, I think it was October, in October, either November meeting. And we brought that forward and put it in. So if there's any questions, that would cover that.
Any questions on the budget? Move forward to board and commissioner of the year.
Mr. Chairman, every year the council recognizes the board and commissioner of the year. This year they did ask that we not nominate the same person that was nominated last year or maybe in 2 years in a row. Not exactly we did it the last couple of years, I didn't look back. But that you as a board choose who you think should be the board and commission member of the year. We've won that a number of times over the years. So, yeah, Greg won it last year. Proves you can't put enough lipstick on the pig to make him shine. So,
well, somebody I was the only one nominated, I think.
But anyway, y'all need to make that decision. It needs to be done in, I think, April is when they actually do it. We always put it in our March agenda so that sometimes when Sherry sends me I need it now, y'all have already met and it's too late. So we try to do it a little bit early. That way I'm ahead of the game when she asks for it.
You need somebody tonight.
Yes, sir. Y'all can do that, or either you can think about it, but we need to do it at the April meeting for sure.
Y'all wanna do, y'all nominate somebody tonight or?
Nominate Stacy Roberts for his hard work and dedication as chairman and leader of this group.
Can we turn that?
Somebody get a show. Alright, anybody else?
Move nominations be closed.
That does require a second, but.
Second.
I don't think that's a problem.
All in favor?
Alright.
Any opposed? Thank y'all. I know I can't fill Greg's shoes.
No, but you can do it extra try.
Alright, thank y'all for that. Alright, moving on to, call type.
I didn't have any real pertinent discussions with Robert this particular period of time.
Alright. About approval of AFG grant.
Nothing to report there.
Move on to miscellaneous item, grant update.
Again, nothing to report there.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to have some grant updates. Everybody remind me, the V-Safe grant is due a week from today. That is March the 13th. It's $14,050 for that. Remember, you have to go onto the Power Portal website and confirm all the first start. If you're a chief, you probably got a phone call from Susan Duncan last week about that. I know I did, so. And she just confirmed everything, so that is due by next Thursday, the 13th, right? $14,050.
I think every department in this county said they wanted to apply except one. So.
And you can use the county bid process for numbers. They're still good. But they are expecting an increase in some vendors. but you can still use that, and if you need my help, let me know.
Talking about catalog?
Yeah.
That's an official bid, and it's good for a year. Even though the vendors may not hold that exact number, it's still a good bid.
Anybody have some grant?
There is a forestry grant out there. Some of y'all apply for that every so often. But every chief in here, or every chief in the county should have gotten an email from, I think the state fire marshal's office sent it out, but also forestry usually sends it out too. I know Kershaw usually applies, they're not here tonight, and Todd wasn't able to get on, they usually apply. Buford used to apply, have y'all applied this year? You hadn't applied this year? But I know Kershaw and Buford usually always applied. City applied a time or two, are they gonna do it this year? Yeah. Y'all are too big now.
Trainer report.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, if you'll take a look at the report on your desk there. Just finished the hazmat ops class, had great success out of that class. Had a few retests in there, so, the 3350 class, the water ops canceled due to low enrollment. We'll be starting the firefighter 1, the 1156 class this coming Tuesday with, it says 12, 2 more pass, so I'll be getting 14 in there, that'll be 14 in the firefighter 1 class coming up, so that'll be good for that. And that'll complete January to June's fire academy classes hosted in this county. So coming up in the fall, we'll be talking about it at this March train officers meeting about classes coming up this fall. Go ahead and write down, pencil in that we're gonna have a EBDT, auto extrication, firefighter 2, Class E licensing, and a 3310 low angle rope. Alright, so those classes are already on the books. Ask your train officers and train officers if they had any more classes that they wish to come back, and we'll talk about admin as well. High school program, seniors just finished up firefighter 2 and low angle rope as well, and the juniors are in firefighter 1. Remember, we do the ABC, Bravo Charlie Delta. They're in Bravo right now, looking to test probably in the next week with that. Rescue drills, earlier Billy spoke on that with the struts and the airbags. Asked your training officers that this spring we have training on the struts, and then once all of the airbags come in, then this fall we'll have training on the airbags. Right? So instead of doing a round robin one night deal or multiple nights of the rescue drill and have different scenarios going on, we got this equipment, let's get our hands on it, let's use it. So I've asked your training officers that we'll then have multiple fire departments in at one night, not just, so for example, we might have Elgin, McDonald Green, and Gooches and Belltown together one night, and then we'll go around the county doing multiple stations a night, doing the struts and the airbag. So look for that coming up, for dates coming up for the rescue struts and in the fall for the airbags. So get your hands out on that. All right. First responder class coming up. We have 5 in that class. So that'll be coming up March the 18th. Then you'll test out in May. Right? March 18th and in May. Social media is always the same. When you're ready, get with me. Gary Baker is back. Talked to him today at Miss Brenda's retirement party. So anytime I put a bug in his ear, and he said, hey, he's ready to rock and roll. So let me know. We'll get this scheduled up. And lastly, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to speak on the Class E licensing. Where we at with that? Just to let y'all know, years ago, it was very easy. We could gone over to the Lancaster DMV, done the Class E licensing, and been done, right? So they cut that out, do the budget stuff. Now, we used to go to Chester. We rolled for several years with Chester and had Class E licensing over there. If you had 1s and 2s, take EBDT and needed a Class E license. Class E licensing is no longer no longer available to be tested at Chester DMV. Would anybody like to take a guess where the closest DMV to us right now?
Spartanburg, Florence.
Florence is where we have to go if we have, someone from a foreign country come over. Fun fact. Yes. One of your members has to take it. So that is a thing, right? Blythewood. Blythewood is our closest DMV that now does Class C licensing, for that. So, talk with JD about how can we get, Class C licensing, if we have, what's the minimum number and all that. And, we're gonna have a hard discussion next week with, his boss about that, cause I stated that, we have several around the county. I know, at Buford they have one, and Kershaw, I know they're not here, but they have one. So, instead of holding out for the fall till after an EDT class, what can we do that way we can get a Class C licensing going for that, alright? So, I know some stations are frustrated. I've had several conversations with Bill Jack here about, his members, and he understands the hands are tied. I can't have a class just for one person, but I'm trying to get some form of minimum for a Class C license, alright? So I know we always have a big class with after an EDT, but, you know, somebody goes off and takes EDT at Chester or something like that, or York, comes in with, EDT, how can we get them Class C license? So, just want to give y'all an update about that, and where we're at with that process, alright? Now, any questions, Mr. Chairman?
Anybody got any questions on Fran? Maintenance report.
This month, since the last meeting, has been a very busy, month, and this going into the rest of this month will be very busy also. We was able to test 11 fire department's hose on, that's 92,180 feet, 85 feet of hose tested.
How many? How many did you say?
92,185 feet of hose tested. We did have to fight with weather. We had a couple of cancellations. I appreciate Kershaw, Rich Hill, and some other stations stepping up. If I forgot somebody, I apologize. Elgin pretty much Kyle already handled his on their own. Done a good job. We did miss one fire department. Traysville has been bumped from spring to fall. There's nothing we could do about it. Weather kind of put us in a bind for 3 days, and the machine went down for 1 day. So we was able to make up everything else except for one station. So it'll be done in the fall unless they happen to come back through our area. Cylinder testing, hydro started Monday at Pleasant Valley. We're at the city right now testing. We had 360 cylinders tested so far. Out of 360 cylinders tested, we have 7 that has been decommissioned or condemned due to damage. It happens. We usually have 4 to 5 a year that we replace. 7 right now, and we have 4 that was due to be replaced this year already that are in the budget. They have been ordered. Well, 10 of them have been ordered. I didn't know about one of them, so we'll just amend the PO. We'll get purchased and amend the PO and add that other one to it. So we get them on the way. That'll be 45 minute, 15-year cylinders, not 30-year cylinders. We go 30-year cylinders on the grit packs because they're enclosed in a case, in a package, and it's not hard, but it's a little bit easier to protect them than it is a SCBA one on the back. So we'll go 15-year on that. It's well worth the 30 years. It's like $800 to $900 more per cylinder. But when you're talking about a $2,500 cylinder, $2,000 for the cylinder, it's worth it in the long run to go that extra years on life expectancy of that cylinder. barring any questions right now, the old 1031, which is Rescue 1 at Indian Land, is down due to a DPF filter failure. It has been ordered. It should be here either tomorrow or Monday. The ladder truck at the old ladder truck 1441, which is now ladder 3 at Indian Land, is down due to an EGR valve. It's going to end up being a software issue that we can't figure out. That's got to go to a vendor for repairing a lock, rescue lock on the ladder for the rescue versus water mode on the ladder. That's slated for next week, barring any problems with weather or any other problems going on. The fleet trucks, maintenance trucks, they look really good. I got a sneak peek picture of them this week. They should be shipping out either this week or next week from Kansas to come here. And then of course they'll have to get striped and everything else. But really exciting to see something that we've been trying to get for years to make a big step. And I hope, not only am I excited, but I hope us as a fire service are excited to see something like this, because this is a huge leap in the maintenance department and the coverage for other stuff, capabilities in the county wide to be able to do things in the field that we're having to do at another vendor site. The red trucks are coming along. We have nailed down the back cargo area of the trucks. It's we have one that's put together now, and we'll be implementing the rest to get the red trucks back, to get the red trucks on the road in the near future. Barring any questions, that's what we have now.
We have one question. The cylinders that I know we had 4 or 5 that come out and was damaged, what happens to those cylinders?
They'll be destroyed and have to be drilled.
So if they get drilled, can we get them back for training purposes? So when we're doing rescue to rescue, or that's how they're getting tore up, we can put those cylinders, they're not breathing air, we can put those cylinders on there so we're not tearing up more of them. We can paint them pink or green, whatever, and holes in them, I don't care. As long as they still got the valves, we can click them into the back. That would help.
Yeah, we can do something like that.
Okay, thank you.
Where we at on the iPads and graphics?
Right now, some of the iPads are in. I think you got the 10, you got the
11 inch,
11
16 of them.
Most of Greg's, if not all Greg's, are in for Indian Land. I think they were still waiting on some of the 12-inch ones to come in.
Apple had to make some more. They completely stopped it out. Just doing the trucks and
And we're working on the apps for them. They will be locked, but we're making sure the apps that the fire departments need, Wiser and all that stuff's on there. So when they get pushed out, and they can also, they have the capability, if an app needs to be added, they can push it out. So if we decide there's another app that just come out that's beneficial to the whole fire service, then it'll be pushed out. But yeah, they're in the process right now. I have 2 maps in my office that I hope will work. They seem to look like they're gonna work. We won't know until we put them in.
Any other questions on that? The budget.
Mr. Chairman, you got a copy of the DAI on, for the 140, which is the fire, 141, which is the fire commission budget, and 144, which is the career service budget. Again, remember, look at the date, that's good through the end of January. We're already through the month of February into March. So there's a lot of expenditures that have come out, particularly with equipment, over that period of time. So the percentages to the right, don't get caught up on that. That says we should be at 41%. But that's in a regular department. Fire commission is not a regular department. Ours is real equipment heavy and the utilities heavy. So everything is moving along, I think, as it probably should be. I don't see any issues. barring any questions, that we report on that.
Any questions for the current budget? Any, commissioner comment?
They were just doing barbecue March the 21st.
Again, Creek Chicken and Rice Saturday.
Belltown
The world's
Catfish
best.
Belltown is weekend as well.
International thing. Yeah, that's right. Can't keep them all the way from San Francisco.
Swap, I trade you.
That's what it's on my hat. You better get it before 10 o'clock.
I'll be tired of chicken and rice that Saturday.
Yep.
Any other comment?
Yeah.
Yes.
My permission. If y'all would keep Bernard Smalley in your prayers, he had a little heart issue, he had a valve replaced this week. That was Tuesday. On Wednesday, a runaway heart. Today, he got medicated all night. Today, his wife said it's a lot better. He got road to lightning, he got defibrillated, and cardioverted back. And right now, his heart's doing a lot better, but y'all know that can throw a blood clot and cause some issues. But he will not be teaching classes for about 6 more weeks. So this is a major surgery for him. So keep it in your prayers, please. A lot of y'all's had classes with him. Good guy.
But as I mentioned earlier, Julie's mother's been in the hospital. I think based on the last text, she's gonna get to come home. Everything has worked pretty well. They were really worried for about 4 days. And Tina's surgery went really well according to Sam, the text we got. When is she coming home? Do you know, Fred?
Possibility tomorrow, but probably Saturday.
Okay.
We don't know.
But Sam was pretty excited in the text he sent all of us. The doctor told him the surgery went absolutely perfect and that she should be completely out of pain. So what she's trying to accomplish with the back surgery, because it's in her neck, back surgery should be successful. So Sam's very happy about that. I'm not sure she will be once she gets fully awake.
If y'all would, just pray for, some of y'all may know Richard Hudson. He had to be flown to Palmetto Richland over the weekend, and he's been with the station a good little while. He's not a firefighter anymore, but he's just there as a help with the barbecue. He's got put on dialysis due to some fluid that he's had some heart issues. Just keep him in your prayers. He's still down at Palmetto Richland or whatever it's called now.
Any other comment? I hear a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.